General Zod and his cohorts are out for revenge in Superman 2. A nasty bunch.
The son of Jor-El has fled.
But you can always rely on Superman. The ultimate struggle, the New Year's Day action movie, Superman 2 at 5 to 2 on Central.
Now, for the first time, we say good morning to GMTV.
Good morning, a new day, a new year, a new television station. Welcome to GMTV, Britain's brightest start. It's Friday, the 1st of January 1993. It's just after 6 o'clock, and I'm Eamon Holmes.
And I'm Anne Davis. A very happy new year to you. Now, every morning here on GMTV, we'll be first with the news around Britain and around the world.
First too, with the latest from the world of entertainment, we'll be talking to your favourite stars.
And dealing with the issues which matter to you and your family.
So, welcome to Good Morning Television, and this is what we've got for you in the next hour. The national and international news, that's next, followed by the weather at 6:10. Then around 7:15, we will be introducing you to the rest of the GMTV team. At 7:25, there's a New Year's treat for our younger viewers, breakfast with Paddington Bear.
But first, here are today's main news stories. Princess Diana has told friends she's emotionally exhausted after her breakup with Prince Charles. The revelation comes as she begins her Caribbean holiday with her two sons on the tiny island of Nevis. Our royal correspondent Joanna Sheldon has this exclusive television report showing the royals as never seen before on holiday.
The princess and friends spent the day on a secluded sandy beach enjoying a barbecue lunch and the warm waters of the Caribbean. With temperatures in the 80s, the shores of Nevis are about as far away from frozen Britain and her sad marital problems as it's possible to get. And it was a welcome break. Friends have said the strain of the last few months have left her emotionally exhausted. But the day was spent having fun, especially when there was a princess to splash. Even the odd tropical shower wasn't enough to put them off.
For the princess, it's a chance to catch up with her two young sons after her decision to stay away from the traditional royal family Christmas. She'll be anxious to spend as much time as she possibly can with them before the new school term begins. And it's here at the Montpellier Plantation Inn that they plan to soak up the sun for the rest of the week. Those who really know the Caribbean say that it's as exclusive as they come. Last night, the princess and friends saw the New Year Inn with a private party of lobster and grilled fish.
Well, Joanna joins us now live from the Caribbean. Hello, Joanna. How important, thank you very much, and to you too. Now, how important has this reunion with her sons been for Diana?
I think it's been very important. It must have been very painful for her indeed to leave them at Christmas as she had to this year. It's the first time it's ever happened, and I think any mother can sympathise with that. It must have been a pretty miserable day for her. And friends say that the whole episode has really taken a toll on the princess, that she's emotionally exhausted. Somebody told me that she had nothing more to give. So I think this week in the sunshine with her sons is very important for her.
Now, we understand that the Princess of Wales has asked for no fuss during this holiday. Is she managing to keep a low profile?
Yes, it's a fairly low-key affair. The hotel that she's staying in is very exclusive. It's a beautiful place, but it's not the most expensive hotel in the resort. Also, the island that she's chosen, Nevis, is very beautiful, very charming, very Caribbean, but it's not the flashiest island that you could go and visit. Also, of course, she travelled over economy class, so she's keeping a fairly low profile.
Joanna, thank you very much indeed, and we must apologise for the slight glitch on the satellite link. Eamon.
President Bush, on the second day of his trip to Somalia, today visits the heart of the country's famine area. He'll be travelling from Mogadishu to Baidoa, the so-called City of Death. Our senior correspondent, Martin Frizzell, is in Somalia.
Suffer the children no more, for the time being at least. American muscle guarantees aid trucks get through to the famine capital, Baidoa, where security also means British doctor and nurse Rick Price and Bev Collin can tend more malnourished and diseased.
It's difficult to appreciate just 2 weeks ago that we had everybody on had guns. You walk down the street, there's a 7-year-old with a Kalashnikov rifle.
No more thanks to George Bush in Mogadishu yesterday.
And may you all have a happy new year. Thank you so much.
He flies to the famine zone this morning. The roads are still too dangerous.
And it seems that the rival clans that are trying to control this bridge are fighting right now.
Which we soon discovered. Relief workers and indeed one warlord I've spoken to warn if the US pulls out too soon, the famine and the bloodbath could return. If that is Bush's short-term problem, it could become Clinton's nightmare. Martin Frizzell, GMTV News.
And Martin will be joining us live from Mogadishu in just a couple of minutes.
1993 is the year when Europe becomes the world's biggest single market. Our chief correspondent, Sue Saville, joined the celebrations aimed at heralding a Europe without trade barriers.
John Major's last task as outgoing president of the European Community, lighting the way towards greater unity. 1,000 similar beacons were lit across Europe. 1993 is meant to create a single market for all the EC member states. But with so much of the small print yet to be finalised, these beacons are being seen more as symbols of solidarity, peace and friendship than of wholehearted European unity. The Prime Minister told GMTV there's still much to be done in Europe.
The first thing is to complete the GATT round. The second is to progress. We want to see the Danes win their referendum, ratification of Maastricht in the United Kingdom.
The opposition leader expressed his concern about the bill creating European unity.
It's a bad deal for Britain, and it's one we want to put right by getting the social chapter brought back in.
Outside the EC, celebrations for Europe's two newest states, Slovakia and the Czech Republic, now separate nations. Sue Saville, GMTV News.
Well, GMTV's other correspondents have also been looking at the year ahead. First from Brussels, our Europe correspondent, Kathy Smith.
After a miserable 1992, at last there's something to party about here in Brussels. 93 has begun with beacons lit up across Europe as the single market opens for business. But don't expect to wake up to a very different world unless you're going to hop over the channel to stock up the drinks cabinet. And still to come in the year ahead, sorting out the muddle of Maastricht. Kathy Smith, GMTV News.
Well, the champagne corks are popping in Moscow, but there may not be much to celebrate, with massive inflation and capitalist-style unemployment looming. Many say the ambitious privatization program won't work. This is a crucial year for Russia's reforms and for Boris Yeltsin, and it's bound to be another year of great uncertainty. Sue Jameson, GMTV News.
Sees the first Democratic administration in the United States in 12 years. Bill Clinton says he'll concentrate on domestic issues, but he also inherits the problems of the former Yugoslavia, of Iraq and Somalia. And Somalia is high on the agenda of George Bush. The president is in Somalia to meet troops from Operation Restore Hope.
Thank you very much, Maxine. Just come back to you shortly, but as I said earlier, joining us now live from Mogadishu is our senior correspondent Martin Frizzell there. Martin, has President Bush's visit made any real impact on the situation in Somalia?
Well, good morning and Happy New Year to you, Eamon, from Mogadishu. First of all, you've got to perhaps understand the background here. Just until 3 weeks ago, we couldn't be doing this for a start. We were exposed on top of a roof in Mogadishu. We'd have been shot at. This used to be the anarchy capital of the world. Through a series of dictators and then clan wars, you have to understand that Mogadishu just became almost like a Mad Max town with gunmen roaming free at will because there's no unemployment here, there's no government, no law and order. Food is really the only currency. And they were taking the food coming out of the port and selling it off. That's the way they made their money. The Americans came in just in the past 3 weeks or so, and they've stopped all that almost totally. You still hear gun shootings at night time, but nothing too serious. The Americans have stopped that. They've got the food convoys rolling again. They've quietened down Mogadishu. Bush is here certainly, but the question everybody wants to ask him that he hasn't answered so far is how long is he going to keep the troops in?
Yeah, well, all that said, and as you say there, how long, that's the question, Martin. It's meant to be a limited deployment. If the troops are pulled out, what way do you see the situation developing?
Well, Bush originally said he was going to pull them out by Bill Clinton's inauguration. That's clearly not going to happen. One warlord I spoke to the other day was saying that he and his rivals, the two main clans here in Mogadishu, although I think clan is perhaps the wrong word to use, being a clan member myself, we don't act in that way, but the two main clans here basically say they want peace. They want the Americans to stay while they can actually work out some kind of timetable. They say they want one man, one vote democracy. They also say that that will take at least 3, 4, maybe 5 months. And if the Americans don't stay for all that length of time, they warn that the shooting will start again.
Okay.
There'll be anarchy once
Martin,
more.
We'll leave you there in Mogadishu. Thank you very much. Just back to you, Maxine, in Washington. If the situation doesn't improve, what's the likelihood of the Clinton administration keeping the troops in Somalia?
Well, Eamon, there's absolutely no doubt at all. Bill Clinton will not pull those troops out of Somalia. The whole way along in this issue, he's been very supportive of President Bush. It is a humanitarian mission at this point in time. I think if it was a solely military mission, they would go back to the drawing board and maybe have some sort of a rethink. It's a humanitarian mission. He's behind it the whole way. He's dedicated and he will not pull the troops out. There are reports today in some of the newspapers here, in fact, saying that January the 20th was completely a no-no from the beginning, and the troops could even be there this time next year.
Okay, well, Maxine in Washington, Martin in Mogadishu, Somalia there. Thank you both very much indeed, and Happy New Year.
Well, those were the main news stories this morning. Time now is 11 minutes past 6, which means it's time for the GMTV weather with Emma Jessen, who's in our weather department in Birmingham.
GMTV's weather with Direct Line Insurance.
Good morning and a very happy new year to you. Well, with champagne corks still popping in our ears, we turn our faces to the skies and the satellite pictures, which are giving a rather unsettled outlook, if anything, for today. You can see there's a swathe of cloud out to the west of Ireland that's been moving in so slowly over the last few days. It will bring some heavy rain when it does finally arrive, but most places won't have that to worry about because it'll only affect northwestern parts of Ireland and also Scotland too. And so to the first morning of 1993, and as you may have noticed if you've been out partying, there is a problem with freezing fog at the moment, particularly across southern England and the South Midlands. Maybe you wouldn't have noticed, depends on how good the party was, I suppose. Apart from that, England and much of Scotland and Ireland will be dry, and most of the fog will lift to give some hazy winter sunshine later on. The cloud I mentioned earlier will give some light rain to northwest of Scotland to start with. That'll get heavier into the afternoon with the wind picking up, but dry for most other places. The sun getting a bit of a look in. Bit murky and misty though still. Back to Anne now.
Weather not too bad, thanks Emma. That was this morning's news and weather. 12 minutes past 6 now.
Yeah, it is indeed. Coming up, introductions to the rest of the GMTV team. It's not just us, including a few familiar faces, all after the break.
Wabbit, one. Here comes the farmer with his gun. Bang, 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 bang goes the farmer's gun. So one wabbit, one. Hey, what's up, Doc? Whoa, the wabbit's got Weetabix. Run, farmer, quick. Here comes the wabbit with the Weetabix. Yum, now I'll stop your tricks. So run, farmer, quick.
Have you had your Weetabix? Why buy 2 small bottles when Ariel's big value size saves you money and the pouch saves you even more? Ariel Ultra Liquid, big size, big savings.
Look, Mickey Mouse! The castle! Oh, let's go!
Winter? It's a great time to go. See for yourself. Indoors and out, there's so much fun at Euro Disney this winter, you'll want to stay forever.
See you tomorrow, Mickey.
Call this number now or see your travel agent for winter rates.
heartburn, acid indigestion, trapped wind. Andrew's antacid tablets help relieve 3 kinds of indigestion. They fizz pleasantly on the tongue, and 2 tablets can neutralize the acid in 5 lemons. When it comes to the acid test, Andrew's antacid tablets help relieve 3 kinds of indigestion.
Suck 'em and see.
Hello.
Happy New Year.
Yes, welcome back to GMTV, Britain's new breakfast television programme. Eamon and I, of course, and the rest of the team have been working very hard over the past few weeks to get ready for today.
Yes, already we've, it has to be said, put a few hours in on this sofa, so to speak. But we haven't been on our own, because here now is a chance for you to meet the rest of the gang. Leading off, co-presenters Michael Wilson and Fiona Armstrong.
You know that's the sound of the men working on the chain gang. That's the sound of the men working on the chain gang. All day long they're saying
morning. Morning, Gav.
morning.
Yes, all credit to the staff behind the scenes. I hope you're taking a well-earned rest today. Good morning. I'm Michael Wilson.
And I'm Fiona Armstrong.
And we'll be presenting GMTV.
From Monday to Thursday.
In America, they'd call us the anchors, handling everything from the news to, well, you mention it, we do it.
Yes, we don't go overboard that often.
Hardly, but I went over the top when they had me arm wrestle a gladiator in rehearsals a few weeks ago. So a conventional breakfast show, this isn't.
Looks tough. That's it. Hard work. Breathe, participants.
Do we stop fairly soon?
I think it's...
I think she's... No, you're being kind to me. No, you're being kind.
Well, from toast to TV, what else? Last night, millions of American television viewers tuned in for the very last episode of Cheers.
Not us, because we were both asleep, weren't we?
We were, yes, yes. After 10 years and 271
Separately.
episodes...
This is your cue to say to Fiona, but how do you manage getting up so early with your young daughter, Fiona? Do you want to do that one?
How do you manage to get up so early with your young daughter, Fiona?
It's hard.
It is difficult, isn't it? It's totally difficult running a career in children.
Good, we've got that one over. Thank goodness for that. Now let's get down to the real nitty-gritty.
Actually, the best of those headlines recently was the Sunday Sport had the absolute best, which was Robert Maxwell's married Marilyn Monroe in heaven.
Well, I like the one I found about the noise from a young man's personal stereo was driving commuters mad on a train until a fellow passenger whipped out a pair of scissors and cut the lead. Apparently, everybody cheered and clapped on the train. Great idea. They drive me mad as well.
Campaign we should start, I think, don't you?
Get up. I want that one. Is that a caramel one?
That's a caramel. We can have that.
I'll be presenting the regular weekday top of the morning slot. Half an hour of conversation, advice, blind dates, glossy gossip on TV shows, best buys from our supermarket super sleuth, and advice on relationships from our agony uncle and aunt. Oh, and consumer reports from you, our viewers, around the country. What have you got for us today?
Oh, I got some lovely grub today.
Oh, good.
Real food for real people is what we have today, friends.
Good stuff.
Absolutely,
That's
yes.
what we want.
How do you feel about sardines?
I like sardines, yeah.
They're very good for you, know. They've got all those lovely oils and everything in them.
Right.
Hillary would agree with that, I'm sure.
He would. How long does it take in all to actually transform someone into what we would see as a cover girl?
You would normally allow a good hour for a makeup on a model. It has to be so perfect because you're going in so tight on a cover shot.
What's the most sort of unusual job, do you think, that you've done?
The most unusual thing I've done is to transform 3 people into stones. It was, they had to be stone statues.
My brief from GMTV is to take care of the nation's health. So I'll be giving you some sound and indeed lots of visual advice on how to stay in tip-top condition. So if you want to know your future, don't forget that a stethoscope is a lot more reliable than a horoscope. Let me ask you, have you got a birth plan? Do you know what you would like to have in terms of the delivery itself?
Yes, I know I'd like to have as natural a birth as possible.
But of course with twins, you do have an increased rate of complications. Things can go wrong, as my wife and I knew ourselves. So getting a birth plan organised in conjunction with the recommendations of the staff is quite useful, incorporating your own wishes, but then not to be too disappointed if you can't stick to it, because things are unpredictable and things can change. Now, this actually is a home test that you can buy from large chemists in the high street now, and it's dead straightforward to do. I'm going to do it for you. I mean, people can do this for themselves. Have you got the guts to do a cholesterol test? And all we do is we depress that.
Has it happened yet?
Yeah, there we are.
Oh, there we are. Yeah.
So it didn't even feel it?
No, not really.
Isn't that wonderful?
I just felt excruciating pain. Was that correct?
Hi, I'm Linda Lusardi, and I'll be handling the tips on healthy hunks. It's all about better bodies, how to firm them up and keep those muscles in hand. Mine's an exercise book you didn't get given at school.
Wake Up with Linda on GMTV. I would.
What about the upper body, the arms and things?
Okay, one for that is to just take your bottom off the chair, have your arms shoulder width apart with your palms facing forward, okay, and just very slowly lower yourself down.
Make sure you've got a steady chair there.
Step knee lift and step knee lift. Brilliant. Now pull the tummy muscles in.
I am.
Come on.
I'm John Taylor, and whereas some channels' TV presenters view events from the club bar, I'm practising at another bar, and I'll be here from time to time with legal tips and with a barrister's eye view of topical causes for concern.
John, do you feel that extending the laws as they stand would lead to personal harassment?
Well, I think you've got to balance freedom of movement against freedom to stay alive. And as I say, the IRA have extended their targets to ordinary shoppers.
Is there any evidence to suggest that the Dutch experiment of legalising soft drugs actually works?
Well, there isn't, and this is why we shouldn't sort of rush ahead and adopt their experiment. I've been defending and prosecuting hardened heroin addicts for something like 14 years now. And whilst you can't say that every single person that takes cannabis goes on to a hard drug like heroin, many of the hardened heroin addicts started with cannabis. It was a social experiment, and they carried on experimenting until heroin hit them.
I'm Jackie Harper, and I'll be popping up all over the place during the week with the latest national and international news reports, co-presenting our Holiday Snap series and standing in for Fiona and Anne when they're on holiday. But when do I get a holiday? I don't think I'm going to have the time. It was the longest cup of coffee ever. The couple didn't kiss until 1990. 2 years later, he finally whispered the words, "Every girl longs to hear."
Have you got any milk?
That's the one.
Good morning!
Hola. Merci.
Hola.
What do you think? Looks good? Okay. This is a tricky bit. I always mess this bit up. Okay. There we go. Stretch that like that. That's good, yeah? Not bad. Well, if you're about to rush into the bathroom and splash on aftershave,
Your
give away
aftershave is really nice.
and deodorant. Hold on a moment. Experts are now claiming that women actually prefer men's natural musky smell.
You sure?
That's the best you'll get. I don't need it anymore.
I'm Jo Sheldon, and I'll be watching the royals and giving insights and analysis on what's really happening. So looks like I've got a very busy, perhaps even taxing year ahead.
They say separation, but is this going to be divorce?
I don't see how two young people like that can continue to live utterly separate lives. I mean, they may want to remarry. I think you can't really rule divorce out.
What about this guest list? We keep hearing that now Princess Diana's not going to be there and the Duke of York's not going to be there. Is that all true?
Princess Diana obviously not, now she's announced her separation, and I think we'll see her less and less at family occasions unless her children are there as well. But Prince Andrew was a surprise. One theory being put forward is that, in fact, he's a bit miffed that his wife hasn't been invited. And as she said on that interview last night, Prince Andrew is her best friend. So perhaps he's feeling a hurt that she hasn't been invited. But it's all pure speculation.
What's your favourite goal, Gary?
My favourite goal? To give viewers a sporting chance to be winners by answering top prize questions with me, Gary Stevens, on GMTV.
What about that? Isn't that extraordinary? Does that remind you of an old leather ball? You pardon the expression? Yeah?
Yeah, very nice in actual fact, yeah. Beautiful. I used to get through tons of the old aftershave and deodorant, so, you know, throughout the football season up and down the country, and there was always a few players who would never bring their toilet bags in. No, but what they used to do was use my stuff. That's why I used to get through.
You're going to say they were very smelly.
Yeah.
Now about the competition this morning.
Well, Sporting Chance this week, we've got a smashing prize. It's a week's golfing holiday up at Glen Eagles, the world-famous Glen Eagles, all expenses paid. And the question today, quite simply, is Nick Faldo was disqualified from a golf tournament in South Africa last week. Was it A, because he illegally moved his ball, B, he had too many clubs in his bag, or C, signed an incorrect card? So why was Nick Faldo disqualified from a golf tournament last week? He illegally moved his ball, had too many clubs in his bag, or signed an incorrect card?
Hi, I'm Amanda Reddington and I'll be setting off on week-long whistle-stop tours of exotic yet affordable holiday destinations in Holiday Snaps. Yeah, I know, it's a filthy job, but someone's got to do it. Oh my God, this is disgusting. No peeking. All the hotels are on the beachfront and the sea's only ever a stone's throw away. But if you don't like to get salt in your eyes, you can always take a dip in the pool. If you're looking for action, you might like to try one of the bigger beaches on the northern coast, like Rethymnon or Malia. This is the Sonosus, and there's always plenty to see and plenty to do. Stranded on a desert island somewhere in the middle of the Indian Ocean. Please don't send help. It's just so lovely here, I don't want to leave.
Hello, I'm Michael Hastings and I'll be bringing some order to the frenzied and often fascinating world of politics. I'll be on GMTV to help you understand the political decisions that affect all of our lives.
Yes. Let's talk about things that are actually practical and important to people. First of all, are things in the shops, like food, for example, going to be any cheaper as a result of those discussions in Edinburgh over the weekend?
Well, maybe yes and maybe no. You have to look at it on the sort of wider scale. The big issue is that one of the things that happened at the Edinburgh Summit was an attempt to push forward the economies of Europe. They did agree a growth package worth £37 billion. That'll mean more infrastructure projects, more building projects across the whole of Europe.
I'm Carol Borderman and I'll be uncovering and reporting the latest trends in technology and education, seeing whether our political and educational masters deserve attention or detention. Yes,
now,
I've got my new GMTV clock here.
How about
That's
this one here? Yeah.
Now this is just something that you can get in the shops actually, and it's a little clock, little stopwatch, and would you believe it? It's actually powered by these two potatoes. And,
well, why not?
And why not?
Yes.
Because most people wouldn't imagine that potatoes could produce electricity, but that is living proof that
why are
they
they producing electricity?
Oh, it's all to do with chemistry and so on. But I mean, that's the sort of thing that a child could have in their bedroom and you think, oh, wow, or lemons or all sorts of things you can use in there to produce electricity. But also, this is science. I mean, technology obviously is terribly important. And with that, you don't have to persuade children anymore to enjoy technology, because how many children do you know who don't have or don't want a Nintendo or a Sega? The key to it really is to get them to switch from just playing games to using some educational software. And that's when you can really create some magic, because they desperately want to know how to use it.
Hi! Happy New Year to you. Welcome. Please, come on in. This is my library. I've got a few books, about 20,000, and they're all dedicated to finding odd and strange stories. I'm a bit of an oddity hunter, and what I do is I put everything under the day they happened and compile it under a thing called Today's the Day, and that's what I'm going to share with you on GMTV. I'm also going to give you the chance to win some money by answering a question every day about one of the stories I tell you. So let's begin. It's January the 1st, and today's the day in 1895 that the man who set out to get rid of organised crime in America, J. Edgar Hoover, was born, and a very strange man he was too. He had very strange ideas about personal hygiene. He once sacked an FBI agent because he had sweaty palms. He wouldn't employ anybody with hair longer than a crew cut, and he certainly wouldn't take on anybody who didn't worship his own mother. Also, today's the day in 1925 that Idi Amin was born. Yes, President of Uganda. He rose from being sergeant to president. He was also former African heavyweight boxing champion. But he had some very strange ideas about foreign policy. He once wished Richard Nixon a quick recovery from Watergate and asked Emperor Hirohito of Japan to send him some kamikaze pilots to help him out.
Hi, I'm Helen Thorne, GMTV's fashion correspondent, and I'll be making sure you keep ahead of the trends and tailoring my reports to your needs, sometimes to your fantasies.
Little jerkins are one of the best sellers at the moment on the high street, but obviously they're doing the full biker kit, the proper jackets as well.
If you don't think you've got what it takes to be a biker chick, how about just being biker chic and donning the leathers when the mood takes you?
Do you think top models are worth the money?
Absolutely.
An underslip like this is perfect for the types, designs that are around now, because obviously they don't give any lines, any knicker lines or bra lines. It's all in one, so it gives a very smooth silhouette.
Stand up so we can see a proper view of it.
There you go. Also, Aristoc do these fabulous tights. Knickers are again attached with cotton gussets, so it's all perfectly hygienic.
All in one. So that's,
all in one.
That's great for the line as well, isn't it?
Perfect. Again, no VPL, a very smooth fit.
Hi, I'm Andy Stegel and I'll be joining the morning team to give you the news across the world of sport, from the terraces to tee-off. I'll be here to update you with an inside view of the locker rooms and the boardrooms of our most famous sporting institutions. And you'll be first past the post with all the current stories on who's winning and who's taking an early bath. So don't get left on the sidelines. Join me for our up-to-the-minute sports service on GMTV.
Hi, I'm Fiona Phillips and entertainment's my area. I'll be giving you more of Demi, Hell with Mel.
And Jim, Rosie and Jim, the Bush School and the Muppet Babies. Then at 7:20, get gladiated.
Saturday, Sydney, are you ready?
And get ready at 8:50 for Team Win, Lose or Draw with Children's Ward v Biker Grove, making Saturday Fun Day on GMTV.
It's no good, Ned. You're surrounded. You might as well come on out. I'm giving you a count of 3. 1, 2.
Righto. Nobody move or I eat the Weetabix.
Back, men. He's not bluffing.
Right, that's it.
Have you had your Weetabix? This happy little chap is a Pampers baby, and he's enjoying the comfort and pleasure of a Pampers dry skin. But why is this little girl so sad? Ah, our friend knows. That terry nappy seems to have brought her out in a rash. He's wearing Pampers, so his skin is drier and healthier. If you wet a terry nappy and a Pampers, you'll see that while the terry nappy can let wetness leak back, Pampers' unique lock-away core locks wetness deep inside, away from baby's skin. Clinical tests prove that Pampers are better at helping to prevent nappy rash than terry nappies, so babies stay drier and happier. Pampers. Healthy skin begins with dry skin.
Are your feet better equipped to deal with winter than your tyres? Perhaps you didn't know that for about the price of a decent pair of shoes, you could buy a good pair of tyres at QuickFit and have them fitted at no extra charge in less time than you would spend in a shoe shop. Get a free tyre check at QuickFit today.
If you want your family's things to be as soft on their skin as can be, the leading non-biological powder will give you softness, but not the softness of Fairy. As every Fairy baby knows, Fairy Ultra gives you the softest touch of all non-bios, and whiteness that no traditional non-bio can beat. Fairy, the non-bio that gives you the softer touch for your family's skin.
Tinkle Tots. How many Tinkle Tots are there?
Every day's a holiday, the Tinkle Tots, with the islands, hideaway shells, and the lullaby moons. but for extra fun we ought to know that Tinkle Tots love water.
There's lots and lots of Tinkle Tots.
Tinkle Tots, trust Tommy.
Gangway Snap, I'm in a real hurry.
How about a Burger King Kids Club meal with characters from Walt Disney's classic video Cinderella? A different Cinderella toy in the bag every week.
Snaps! Come on, everybody, let's go in. Disney's Cinderella is at Burger King.
Falling for a fabric,
Picking up a pattern.
running up an outfit,
Or something for the kids.
cutting out and pinning,
Tacking it and sewing.
making up a waistband.
Putting in a zip.
Successful Sewing shows you how to do it all and how to smarten up your home with hundreds of step-by-step photographs and a free collection of paper patterns.
Looking for some shortcuts,
Saving lots of money.
catching up on know-how.
And getting new ideas.
Successful Sewing is on sale now.
By award-winning writer Stephen Moffat. Joking Apart, Thursday, 9 o'clock.